Linux Inlaws, a podcast on free Libra open source software. Broadcasting from the United Kingdom and Germany.
Welcome to Linux Inlaws, Season 2, Episode 64, I think, Martin. How are things?
Yeah, things are as things do.
Meaning?
Well, they do things. That's how they are. Do you not know this saying?
No.
Okay, clearly not. Okay, not to worry. How are things with you?
The usual shenanigans. Time traveling, enjoying the world, spending money.
I thought you were going to say drugs and women.
Well, yes, maybe.
And a few artificial limbs, but anyway, hey, it's not
Martin, we are approaching retirement age rapidly. So what
I
can I say?
Retired once. What happened? You didn't agree with you this retirement. Yeah?
Bottom hit, I suppose.
Too high outgoing lifestyle, isn't it, with all these alcohol and women and stuff. And,
yeah. Kids, if you're listening, don't try this at home.
Yeah, don't follow Chris's example.
Martin is a trained professional. I'm not.
Trained professional. That's interesting.
But trained professionalism is not the subject of tonight's show. Unfortunately, we must actually do a show on that at some stage on trained professionals and the fluff industry.
There's quite a few of those, right?
But Martin, you see, we have.
Well, in fact, we are both
up.
probably trained professionals since we did study and have training and
plus
professions.
There is an upcoming show on Martin's trained profession, which happens to be the adult entertainment industry.
Oh no, you're mistaken. You're mistaken.
Floss
No. If you look in the schedule, it says floss in the movie industry.
No, beneath that actually, it does say.
Actually,
the title of the episode is "Floss in Porn," but
no, I changed it. You missed that.
Did you know? Okay,
I did. Yeah, because that couldn't possibly.
So I must change that back in that case. So,
right.
kids, if you're listening, there may or may not be a future episode on floss and porn. If not,
there'll be one on the movie industry.
If I can talk Martin into talking about his past. But if not, don't worry about it. We have plenty of subjects
have to
anyway.
Remember it first, yeah.
Exactly, yes, Martin, very much so. But let's talk about something very close and dear to our heart tonight, namely, not porn, but privacy, right?
I thought we were going to talk about Edward Snowden, no?
Well, we could, but...
Also known as Julian Assange. But
No. Julian Assange is somebody completely different.
Is he now?
Yes,
how do you know? Have you ever met him?
No, Martin. There's a whole slew of information out there on the internet. Wikipedia probably the best
you
source
shouldn't
of
believe anything online. You know this.
Yes, but Martin, exactly.
Kids, you heard it here first. Don't believe it.
Don't go to Linux Inlaws. Study your word of advice. No, jokes aside, Julian Assange and Edward Snowden are two completely different characters, and yes, they do exist. They're not the same. But why did Martin even mention them?
Indeed.
Because in very much so.
Well,
Julian Assange probably wasn't concerned with privacy.
No, exactly. They didn't take that very seriously.
But Edward Snowden was actually at his very top of the list because he revealed also some things, but he was very concerned about privacy, or still is, I reckon.
Okay.
So why don't we set the scene for tonight's episode? Let's talk a little bit about privacy and why that is important.
Well, it depends, right? Some people have a view that privacy is very important, and some people have nothing to hide.
Couldn't care less. Exactly, yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're using an Android phone, for example, that has a stock room still up and running, you shouldn't be too concerned about privacy, I suppose, because Google tracks your each and every motion, your sleeping patterns. And before even the iPhone fanboys and girls get up, Apple does pretty much the same.
Of course.
More or less. So there was a beautiful...
Well, it's not just... Anyway, we'll cut to this.
Yeah. There used to be a beautiful documentary on the whole thing. Also, there was also a book called 1984, if I'm not correct, right?
Yeah. I'm not sure. Yes. Don't know to the pigs, though, but hey.
Where, for those people who do not know what I'm talking about, the author is Martin. I know the book title, but the author is...
Author is, hang on,
Martin's
Orwell.
Breaking Through? Yes, George Orwell, exactly. And he describes... he wrote this in the 50s, 40s, something like that. Details maybe in the show
I think
notes.
it's a bit later than that, but hey, anyway, it doesn't matter.
He described a dystopian...
I think it was in the 80s, Anyway, yes.
80s, exactly. He wrote this in 1983, exactly. No, he didn't, Martin. No, I think he wrote this in the 40s, 50s, maybe. But he described a dystopian society
Go on.
where privacy was pretty much not existing, because there was this Big Brother thing, and I'm not talking about the TV show for a change, who was watching your each and every step. So there was no privacy.
Well, he died in 1950, yes, so he probably...
So it must have been 40s in that case.
1949, in fact. So, yeah. Okay.
So that was the last opus that he wrote, in that case, or novel.
Could be. Yes. But yes, I mean, clearly he had either time travel or he was very good at predicting stuff because, it's...
I mean, he got it spot on, right? I mean, he wasn't close with regards to the timing, but Apple invented the iPhone, not invented, but rather released the first iPhone late noughties, right? As in 2008, something like that. Andrew Rubinstein had the idea. 2007. Andrew Rubinstein, as in the guy who behind the original Android project, that was later gobbled up by Google, of course. Details will be in the show notes. I had this idea of putting a small computer into every people's living human being pocket around the about early 2000s, and then basically Google had the brilliant idea of, if there's a computer in everybody's pocket, we might as well use that to sell ads and much more. And Google Maps and all the rest of it came later. Not much later, though.
Yeah.
And of course, the idea behind all this is actually these services are free, but you are the product, as in you and your data, sleeping patterns, what you read with regards to mails, on what links you click,
everything is related to what they can sell you next, right? That's the whole principle behind all this stuff.
Yes.
Okay. Well, there you go. There's one episode done.
Excellent. Welcome to... Exactly, that would probably be the shortest episode in history. But I mean, it can be. I mean, if you think the US has it bad with regards to Google ruling...
The US, we can mention many other countries, right? Where
I mean, China has it worse, I suppose.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, China basically is probably the role model when it comes down to non-existent privacy, because
it comes down to the vision from Orwell, right? That's probably China. On the motorways, they have cameras every 100 meters, in fact.
And this is just the motorways for you.
Indeed.
My understanding is that there's a bunch of cameras in every public place. There's a bunch of cameras in every metro station, all the rest of it. So they track each and every move of the citizens. Never mind the fact that the internet is highly censored. Getting out of the country,
it's
contained.
Yes, there is no getting in or out. Right?
Unless you use a VPN, but even that's tricky. I understand. Of course, a VPN being a virtual private network, but we're going to touch upon that in a few minutes.
Are we? Oh,
yes.
Didn't see that in my agenda. Anyway, fine.
You didn't get the memo. Martin, if you keep firing marketing departments and assistants...
No. Marketing do not set the agenda.
No, Martin, but assistants do, but they're gone too.
Assistants? Since when have we had assistants?
But we had one in the beginnings.
Did we? Who is this?
And then you fired them, and then I rehired some of them, and you fired them again, and they didn't bother to reapply.
Oh, well done.
Hence, you don't get the memos anymore. Anyway.
See.
It doesn't matter.
Explain a lot. Yes. No? Does it not?
So, Martin, why is data protection important?
Well, why is it important? It depends on your point of view, right? It's I would say, okay, fine. As I said, the one argument is I have nothing to hide. I don't care. There's a million people, probably several billion people in the world to collect all this. You want to? It doesn't bother me, right? So that's one approach, and then there are people that like to keep their lives to themselves for whichever reason, which can be nefarious or not. It doesn't really matter. It's their choice. So, so yes, those are the two kind of arguments to that side, right? You can you either want privacy or you don't care, and so therefore, is it important? Depends on the individual. But if you don't value your privacy, then you are obviously subject to many things like unwanted sales, unwanted criminal activity, etc. So
yes, and it's getting worse because if you take a look at, and I just did that recently, if you buy a Tesla, as in
buy a Tesla.
Yes.
Oh, don't buy a Tesla.
Exactly, Martin, and I'm going to tell you why in a minute.
Well, I could have told you that, yeah.
Electrical cars.
Don't buy an electric car, full stop. David, if you're listening, get rid of your BMW crap thing. Yeah, anyway.
Tesla is worse because if you buy a Tesla, essentially you're not buying Tesla, if I understand this correctly, but you're leasing it, although the ownership may only partly transfer to you. But as part of this transaction, you have to sign something called an end-user license agreement, and as an EULA. Mm-hmm. And this EULA, especially in the States, means you're basically giving your privacy, your soul, whatever, away. Because that car, especially if you're in it, collects every data point there is. Where you're going.
Not as if you're in it. It's also, it collects everything in its environment as well, to be fair.
Yes. Images, routes, trips, itineraries, and all the rest of it. In Germany, it's slightly better because of more stringent data protection rules, but it's still a mass data collection vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Pun intended, and this is really bad. And the preface is, of course, because you're getting a nice eco-friendly car, but essentially you're signing your privacy away. If you're in it or not.
If you're David Meyer or not, but yeah. Anyway, let's not go there.
David doesn't have a Tesla, I might add.
Well, he has a German variant of the same.
Yes, but you see, it's a German car manufacturer, so it's still bad, but I reckon, but it's not as awful as the American variant. But
no, I was referring to the eco-friendliness of the set. But
okay,
we it's subject to another episode.
We can refer our dear listeners, of course, to the said episode where David and Thomas talk about electric vehicles
without much background research. Okay, yeah.
David, we're going to cut this out. Rest assured. This will be taken out of the episode in the editing room. Promise.
What a shame.
And you don't have to send money. That's a freebie.
It's fine. He's not listening anyway because he hasn't even done an episode on that he was going to do in January.
Money used to be listening to our shows.
That's it.
There you go.
That must be it. Yes. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah.
I mean, this is one of our two listeners, no?
Oh, the other one being David. Yeah, fair enough.
Yes. Okay, back to the subject at hand. So, what can we do about it, or you, or somebody else?
Well, hang on a minute. Before we talk about what we can do about things, we have many aspects, right, to this scenario. It depends whether you. I mean, if yes, you can do things about it, but what if you're in China, for example? Then you have to do other things about it, and so on.
You could emigrate, or try to anyway. Yeah, you could go to North Korea.
And then what?
You wouldn't be inside China anymore.
Yes.
If you get my drift.
Okay.
Or you could wiggle your way into Hong Kong or Japan, where things are slightly better.
China now, in case you missed the memo. But
yeah, but not completely China.
Yeah, it is.
There's still a couple of exceptions. Well, for example, emigrating is probably easier than in mainland China.
But it doesn't matter if it's mainland China. It's part of China, so it has the same rules.
The law on the street is actually that, for example, passports are cheaper in Hong Kong, especially if you buy them on street corners than in China, as in real good ones.
Okay.
But anyway, this is not a show about Hong Kong and passports, but rather about something else.
Okay. Yes. Anyway, data privacy. Yes.
Yes. Exactly, Martin. Exactly.
Where were we? So yeah,
countries and the level of privacy violations and all the rest of it.
Yeah. Well, okay. Maybe we should start at.
North
you mentioned
Korea.
Tesla. You mentioned Tesla. You mentioned Android. North Korea.
Yes, because as far as I know, there's not a huge difference between China and North Korea, and when it comes down to privacy of their subjects. Let's put it this way.
Okay.
Maybe North Korea might be even worse.
Right. So then the next question, I guess, is
how to get out of North Korea. Exactly.
No.
You could emigrate to China.
What if you have a Chinese phone or a Chinese car?
Dump them and immigrate.
No. But the point being that, okay, so we all know that the Teslas and the Amazons and Googles, they collect much data. But as you may or may not remember, there was a lot of I'll talk about Korea. There was a lot of news / uproar about various telecommunications devices that were made in said areas that were no longer being allowed to use in like the US and places like that.
Huawei comes to mind.
Indeed.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Which of course, just a blatant lie, because as we all know, Huawei has that great tradition of open sourcing the software.
Well, you don't know, do you?
That was a joke. They don't open source the software.
No. I mean, they do participate in many open source projects, but yes, the question is, what do they participate in that they don't?
Martin, if you buy a Huawei phone that runs an AOSP spin as an Android, I mean, they have their own app store.
Well, what about Xiaomi? Xiaomi is the
yes. If you're so inclined, if you buy such phone, please put it in the drawer, take out the battery, and don't ever power it up. Word of advice.
But why?
If you're concerned about your privacy.
Okay. But we just. I
mean, Google is bad.
Applies to Google and Apple, so
yeah, but Google is bad. But I reckon they collect even more data, I suppose.
I don't know. Like what?
Body temperature, because all of these sensors.
Wait, no, but you can't collect body temperature on your phone.
You can. Apple does it all the time.
But you'd have to have your phone in your hand.
Well, or close to it, or close to your body, yes.
You're thinking more about wearables, aren't you? Like watches and stuff.
Well, I mean, how many hours in any given day do you have your phone close to your body, Martin, per chance?
Not many.
Not many. Why?
Because it is on my
in the drawer where it should be. Exactly.
Yeah,
yes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, wearables, phones. I mean, it's not a clear-cut thing, but I mean, most of the phones basically track you pretty much like cars do, even worse, because cars you can put in the garage or carport, but phones you carry with you pretty basically wherever you go.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it wouldn't be a mobile phone, but rather a stationary one. If you get my drift.
Indeed. Right. So why is privacy so important?
I mean, even if you're not a drug dealer or an arms dealer or something like that, maybe you don't want to have law enforcement or the government tracking you all the time. Never mind mobile phone companies. Because you don't want to have a mobile phone company spying on you.
No. But the question is, because why? Is the question, right?
Because you may be concerned with people simply not knowing what you're up to, even if you're not a criminal.
Well, yes, some people probably are like that, but yeah, no, that's a fair point. But on the other hand, I think probably the majority of people are not like that, right?
And I reckon a fair share of them doesn't want to be bombarded with affiliate marketing and all the rest of it, but don't know how to go about it.
Like,
unless, for example, they use a Tor browser or something else.
That's unlikely. I mean, how many people use Tor browser apart from you?
I know quite a few actually. Well, that's strange.
Let's not mention the circles you frequent.
Unfortunately, I cannot mention your name.
Indeed. Probably.
For the people who are wondering what we're talking about, it all will be revealed in a minute or two.
Will it? Oh.
Yes. Excellent.
Ooh.
Because if Martin doesn't have any questions about privacy anymore, we might as well go into how to keep your privacy and how to prevent spying. As in government, mobile phone companies, and whatever spying on you.
Okay, right. So, but, however, so mobile phones are one thing, right? But any street corner nowadays has a camera. So what are you going to do about that?
You don't leave the house.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, okay. In your house, you obviously have your ISP, and that connects your data through that. So
unless you use Tor or an overlay network or something. If you really have to leave the house, do a what's the word I'm looking for? Nicolas Cage.
Oh.
As in, there was a documentary called Face Off, where the steps of how to assume a different personality and facial expressions, all the rest of it, were actually quite detailed. Mm-hmm. So it's the point that I'm trying to make here is actually just simply assume another person's personality in terms of looks, behavior, and all the rest of it. Or disable the cameras, but don't get caught.
Okay.
Or, if you live in China, emigrate.
That's probably the easiest solution, yes.
I mean, for example, here in Germany, where I live, for simple data protection reasons alone, you don't have an awful lot of cameras in public places.
Really?
And if there are cameras, and if they record stuff, and I'm talking about public places now, I'm not talking about private premises, which is slightly different from a legal perspective. But due to data protection regulations, any recordings have to be destroyed within a certain period of time. And you're not looking at years, like in China, or decades, but rather days, if at all. Because very much like Scandinavia, Germany is pretty concerned about data privacy issues.
Okay, so how do they catch their criminals in Germany?
They infiltrated them. Simple as that.
Okay. No, the point being that clearly cameras are a handy device to capture evidence, right? If you don't have them, then you have less information. So it works quite well in law enforcement. Cameras do, mobile phones do, all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, but I mean, if you're living in a country that is riddled with crime, like, for example, the UK or the US, it just makes sense to do that.
Okay.
But if you don't have that much crime, like in Germany or Scandinavia, why bother? Because at the end of the call, it costs money. Maybe you can bring down crime rates another way, like being very skimpy on weapons. I mean, for example, if you want to get a weapon in Germany, you have to go through many, many, many hoops and loops.
Yes. No, you don't. You just ask your local, because you are in the EU. So
legally, Martin. Legally.
Yes, well, that's not how it works, is
it? In the US, Martin, there's a bloody constitutional right to carry arms, and never mind to buy them.
Yes.
I mean, that answers the question then and there. Full stop.
What question?
I mean, if you have the right to carry the arms, you might as well basically kill people.
Why?
Because self-defense and something.
Yeah, but that's okay, fine. That's self-defense is fine, right? That's how it works.
And self-defense, of course, meaning if somebody doesn't want to give you their wallet, you simply shoot them. That's self-defense.
I think
no?
you have the wrong definition there. But, yeah.
Do I now?
Yes, you do.
No, kids. Word of advice: do
read
not
up on that.
home. Exactly. No. No, jokes aside. I mean, there are studies over and over in basically proving that if you have loose gun laws, crime rate goes up.
I don't think that's proven, but hey, okay, it's a nice theory.
And of course, the adverse rule does apply as well. Low crime rates, for example, like Germany and Scandinavia, prove in terms of strict gun laws, prove that that yields a lower crime rate. Unless you have a tradition in place like Italy, where organized crime is actually part of the society. But then you would have to change the society in the first place. Some people up in Milano tried and failed. But that's probably the exception that proves that rule.
In Milan.
Yeah, and there was that failed attempt of rooting out the crime down in Napoli, and Naples. Never mind Sicily, but that failed because it's just Italy, right?
Yeah.
but that's
here's an interesting fact for you. So did both the UAE and Saudi Arabia have a higher crime rate than the UK? Which surprised me, but hey, there we go.
I mean, Martin, if you're living in a bad neighborhood, and these two countries probably are that.
No, because they have different laws there, which involves chopping off hand and stuff. So you think they have a low crime rate.
If you're living, and this is now getting political, and we're going to go back to the privilege for 30 seconds. But I mean, if you're living in a neighborhood where another country, and starting with an I and ending with Iran, has a habit of killing most of their people just for the hell of it, what do you expect?
They're not the same country, in case you didn't know.
No, but I mean, the neighborhood is pretty much the same, right? I mean, it comes from education.
No.
There's just a stretch of water in between them. No, Martin, I mean, you just have to cross that Strait of Hormuz, whatever it's called, and then you are actually in
the next vicinity. I mean, you're not the same as the Polish and stuff like that.
I mean...
and even neighboring countries. So there you go. Anyway, politics
aside. But going back to privacy issues, exactly.
We should really probably not do a politics.
No, Mark, we should. Maybe I'm going to bribe post-production to cut this out. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Okay, back to the privacy issue. So, what can you? And now that I've convinced Martin that privacy is actually very important, never mind crime or not, what can we do about maintaining your privacy, or at least a basic level of privacy? Don't use an Android phone.
I think you mentioned buying a wig or something, didn't you?
Yeah, buying a what?
A wig.
A wig, yes.
Yeah, when you
could assume a false identity, but let's stay on the easy side of things.
Oh, okay. Well, buying a wig's got to be pretty easy. Anyway, carry on.
But having your face done is probably not a cheap option or an easy option.
Nah, just wear sunglasses and a hoodie. That's what all the criminals
Fair
do.
enough. Keep the hoodie first, even if you're not a hacker. Just wear a hoodie and sunglasses. Does the trick all the time.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jokes aside. Going back to much more serious grounds,
okay.
What can you do apart from buying a wig and wearing a hoodie and sunglasses? First of all, if you are using an Android phone, make sure that you replace the stock ROM, as in the stock operating system, with something that is much more concerned with privacy than Google is.
Yep.
Something like Linux comes to mind. EOS, which is also an
EOS. We have an episode on this, right?
engine. We're working on it. Yes.
Did we not do that already?
No.
Are you sure?
Well, actually, we did, but that was just about the AOSP project in general, not the privacy-oriented spins.
All right. Okay. Right. Okay.
Details will be shown notes. But if you take a look at the post-market Android operating system ecosystem, there are lots of AOSP spins out there that, for example, do not have the Google Play Store services built in.
Okay.
And of course, in that case, that means your data doesn't go to Google that easily. Unfortunately,
Well, what if you're a criminal and you want to play a game on the Play Store? What are you going to do then?
Well, you can actually create a sandbox as an Android instance within your Android and play your game in that one. Pretty much like a virtual machine.
Okay.
Or you're going to use your mother's Android phone to play that game. Because the mother lives in a retirement home, doesn't drive a Lamborghini, and the cops are not after your mother. I think.
Well, anyway, okay, yep.
But unfortunately,
so devices,
the drawback of that is actually that quite a few apps will not run without these services being available. For example, there's an app for the German rail system that simply the German rail system where you can actually buy tickets.
The train. Yes,
the trains, exactly. Yes,
rail. Yes.
Where you cannot buy tickets without the Google Play Store service being available. Because the app will not function full stop. Getting this to work is a pain in the
buy one over the counter with some cash, then if you want to stay anonymous.
Yes, if you I don't know
your hoodie and your sunglasses
exactly
recorded.
Let's take the UK as an example, because many of the train stations have cameras in their
what the Germans want
in the stations. No. Well, the bigger ones do, but as I said, the regulations do determine when these recordings have to be erased. So you're looking at
what is this time limit on this recording? Just out of interest,
I think a day or two, depending on the location.
A day or two.
Yes.
Okay. So what if someone doesn't discover your crime like 3 days later? Then
like a murderer, somebody dies, and this has only been discovered in about 3 days later. Tough luck.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Okay. Right.
Too bad.
Okay.
Yes, but not all train stations actually still have counters. So most of them would have vending machines, and
do they take cash? That's the question.
Well, most of them, I reckon.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Because this is the other side, right? I mean, if you have electronic payments for everything, then you are traceable as well. So.
Absolutely, yes. Unless you're using crypto or something, which most vending machines in Germany
I don't think about trying to get crypto.
Unfortunately,
might be a little bit tricky. Yeah.
No. But what else can we do? I mean, of course, you can, if you're surfing or if you're doing any internet-related thing.
Well, it's not... okay, so, I mean, we talked about... the OS level and that kind of stuff. But obviously, people are going to use services to communicate. They're going to use services to do their banking and launder their money and stuff like that. So,
I mean, if you want to launder money, it's a washing machine. Works also. Yes. Just read the label first.
The famous laundromat scheme.
Going back to much more serious accounts, what can you do if you don't want to be traced by your ISP? Use a VPN, best example. Or use Tor. Tor is an overlay network. We did an episode on this one.
We did.
So yes, details were in the show notes. To cut a long story short, to recap that episode, essentially what you're doing when you're using, for example, the Tor browser bundle, as in the TBB, that connects you to Tor out of the box automatically. You are using a global overlay network that basically obscures your tracks. As in, ISPs cannot really see where traffic is going and what's coming back.
Should we mention anonymous browsing in that context? Just so that to make it clear to people.
Go ahead, Martin.
Well, why don't you go ahead? Let's see, we're talking about Tor. It's like, how is that different from anonymous browsing, right? Which most people will be more familiar with anonymous browsing than Tor, right? That's,
anonymous browsing for you, that means the VPN? Or, I mean, what do you mean by anonymous browsing?
Well, many browsers have the non-tracking option, right? So, you can, whether you're using Google, Firefox, whatever, or Brave or stuff like that, they have certain capacities in terms of making browsing more private. But so I mean, okay, so Tor is at the network level, fine.
Absolutely.
Then there is obviously the browser level, and then there's also, let's say, the search engine itself, right? for example.
Yes, let's stick to browser level for a minute.
Okay.
If you wanna do this, you wanna use a browser that is completely as in fully open source. As we all know, Chrome is based on Chromium, which is the rendering engine a little bit more than that, but the rest is closed source, as in the stuff that Google gives you that installed in your machine. If you invoke a privacy network, if you invoke a private mode, so to speak, and there actually has been a lawsuit all those years ago where actually people was found guilty of basically deceiving you when it comes down to this private mode. Chrome at that stage still conveyed information back to Google, although you switched on apparently this all-elusive private mode. So you want to use a browser that is completely open source in that case, if you want to hide your tracks.
But yeah, and it doesn't just apply to browsing. Anything that is open source is going to be able to show you what is being collected and not, right? Whereas anything that isn't,
because the source code is available. Exactly. Yes. Absolutely. And I mean, it doesn't stop at the browser level because, for example, there are Linux spins, and Tails probably is the best example, that basically give you complete anonymity. You boot it from a stick, and as soon as you shut down the operating system, all is gone. Browser, fingerprints, cookies, what have you. You say the disadvantage is actually that unless you preserve your data, that's gone too after you power down the machine. But it gives you complete anonymity when it comes down to mails, to browsing, all the rest of it, as in any internet-related stuff. Details, of course, within the show notes.
Okay. Now then, what about quantum computing? How's that coming?
What does that have to do with privacy, I wonder?
Well, because we rely on
encryption, right?
Yes, we rely on encryption. So, which is where, if that is no longer available, it's easily circumvented, then.
So, kids, if you want to have a purely secure data transfer, you want to use quantum encryption that can be broken by quantum decryption mechanisms.
Yes.
Trouble is basically these gadgets do not come cheap.
If you are a drug lord, I'm sure you got a few bob to spare, right?
So kids, kids, if you want to use quantum equipment, just sell some drugs over first. Exactly. Smart move. Yes, smart.
Yeah,
it does make sense.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Where were we? So devices, software. Yeah. Okay.
And of course, that leads us nicely to the final topic: what comes next? In terms of where will this pathway lead us to? In terms of, will companies like Google gobble up data more and more, or will we be able to put a stop to it finally, or will convenience just dictate?
This is it, right? I mean,
revealing your data left, right, and center.
This is it. The majority of people are in the not so caring about privacy camp.
So what can we do about it, Martin? Apart from propagating on our Power podcast, so that people finally wake up.
Well, I mean, podcast is one thing, and clearly this been
audience education
widely reported by many news outlets and what have you. But yeah, do people pay attention? Is the question really? Is that so? Then it comes down to there's probably it's going to need some kind of event, right? That's going to break everything, like the Facebook thing or whatever, and all these kind of things that happened in the past. That something that is going to mean that people take notice.
So probably call to action, right? I mean, if you're concerned about your privacy, first of all, take stock. Do you still have the Facebook account? Are you really game on using a stock Android device, or is something else probably the better alternative? Do you really need these 3 Teslas sitting in the garage doing nothing much?
Oh, you don't need any, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And once you've taken stock, draw the appropriate conclusions. Do you really need that insurance discount, revealing pretty much wherever you go, how many miles or kilometers you drive a year and all the rest of it? Or with not revealing the information, can you live with the list price?
Yeah.
Starts there.
But there's a good point, right? It's this is how people get hold of your data by giving you
exactly
some financial incentive, and then
yes, very much so. And it doesn't stop at car insurance. No. This is just the beginning, of course.
Mm.
I mean, best example. Next thing, the supermarket apps. Do you really need these supermarket apps that give you discounts?
Well, it depends. No, not if you want a discount, but if you want to buy something, or buy something by not go to the supermarket, then you need them. Right? That's how it works with these things.
Yeah, but I mean,
it all comes down to convenience, right?
These supermarket apps give you discounts, vouchers, and what have you. But then they have complete control over you.
What you
exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Same thing goes for what are they called? Loyalty schemes. Same thing. You are the product. Oh. If you're game for that discount, just go ahead. Just reveal your spending habits, your buying habits. But if you don't, simply do not avail of these discount schemes, of these loyalty schemes, and always pay cash. Don't use credit cards. Don't use debit cards.
Yeah, that's one way to do it, or just take the discount and don't buy anything else.
Or simply take a look at the backyard and do your own vegetables, meat, eggs, poultry. You have it. Don't go to the supermarket at all.
You need a pretty big backyard, but hey, yeah, that's...
or marry a farmer. Or two.
Yeah. Good plan, yeah.
Works all the time.
Especially, ideally not a wheat farmer, because pretty bland diet.
Well, I mean, it depends on the type of weed, spelled with a D now, no? Because some of them are in the loop, no? Maybe they're not.
Don't know. Yeah.
Ancient tradition to be revived, especially if you're living in Colorado, or another federal state that has legalized the whole thing. Or Germany, for that matter.
No, you can grow wheat anywhere.
No, I'm talking about wheat, Martin. I'm not talking about wheat, the grain, but rather I'm talking about wheat, the medical supply.
Okay, fair enough.
There is a difference, especially when it comes down to price.
Yes, one doesn't make such a good breakfast for sure. Yeah, or bread, indeed.
Or cash flow, exactly. But the cash flow thing would be spelled that would be spelled with the T at the end, not with the D, and there would be an A in that too, not just double E's. Okay. Any closing remarks before we come to the proxies?
Closing remarks. Well, yeah, it's. I think it's a shame. It's kind of where we started with, right, with the 1984 piece. It's certainly becoming more and more a reality, more than people even know, perhaps. And
it has become a reality. It's not becoming one, Martin. No.
It's becoming more and more. It's a reality, but then there's degrees of it.
I mean, to call 1984 to be reality right now would be calling the kettle black, no? I mean, it's obvious. We've passed that level already. Smartphones being the best example.
Well, don't use a smartphone. There you go.
Exactly. There you go.
That's good. Yeah, that's good. That's probably the advice.
And other gadgets. Of course, do run open source operating systems on open source hardware and
open source services,
open source smartphone,
like Nextcloud.
Exactly. Yes. Just use open source software. Yeah. Self-hosted. Don't worry about it.
Self-hosted, indeed. Yes. Yeah.
On hardware that possibly cannot be traced.
What do you mean?
As in where you bought it, where you bought it, when you bought it.
I see.
Yes.
You buy your hardware. I see. Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Why?
Okay.
You steal your hardware?
No. I'm talking about our.
That's even better. Steal your hardware. But this is not legal advice. But very important. We're not lawyers.
I was talking about our privacy-conscious consumer.
No, kids, do not steal your hardware. No, buy it
Well, especially don't
eBay
sell
or
your own
something.
hardware.
Exactly. But I mean, even better, make your own hardware, because in that case, nobody can trace you.
Oh, but what about the components? Oh. Anyway,
buy them wholesale
the components
through cooperative. In that case, nobody can trace you. Just buy them wholesale. That's okay.
Yeah.
Yep. And with that, it's time for the proxies.
Okay.
Come on, what's your pox?
Oh, what is my pox? That's too many. Let me see, which one shall we use? Yeah. I mean, in keeping with the episode, I guess we had Nextcloud before, probably. So
we did, yes.
Yeah,
quite a few times.
It's still a good pox, though.
Yes.
I think my pox is going to be the open source projects that create alternatives for our services that we all use and love, but are stealing our data. So yeah.
Yes.
The Nextclouds, the Matrix 6, the Elements, all these people, they are doing a great job giving us options. They're out there.
Indeed. And Martin has almost touched upon my pox as well. My pox is actually an AOSP spin called EOS, which is very, 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 very privacy concerned. The other alternative would be Graphene OS. Of course, links will be in the show notes.
Yes.
You can't go wrong there if you're really concerned about your data and not getting into the wrong hands. Of course, be aware of the fact that some apps may not run on these things, but there are always kind of, as I explained before, workarounds in terms of you just put a virtual machine onto your device that emulates your AOSP spin.
Android phone with
exactly like stock ROMs. If you're so inclined technically. And with that,
indeed,
we've come to the end of another great episode, and looking forward to
digital sovereignty. No,
something else.
Actually, no. Freifunk is next, isn't it? On the schedule.
Whatever. Yes. We are looking forward to another great episode.
Of course. Well, we only do great episodes anyway. So.
Indeed. Yes. See you around. This is the Linux Inlaws.
You come for the knowledge,
but stay for the madness.
Thank you for listening.
We hope you like this feature presentation. If so, please spread the word. If not, please let us know. Feedback at linuxinlaws.eu.